Hello everybody and welcome to the Three Ranger Bros Studios. I'm of course your host, Tai Tiger. Today we are going to be diving into a hypothetical video. So as we all know, Tommy Oliver is the 6th Power Ranger in the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers team. But later down the line, he becomes the mentor to the Dino Thunder team. Of course, later down the line, he does join the team, becoming the Black Ranger, but he is their mentor first. So, in this video, me and Cosplay Dude 6v7, the first member of the Three Ranger Bros Studios, are going to team up and discuss what would it be like, and what would it look like if the other 5 Mighty Morphin Rangers actually became mentors as well, following the same footsteps as Tommy Oliver. Here are the rules. The first rule is they have to be Power Rangers. It can come from movies, TV shows, the comic books, it doesn't matter where it comes from, as long as the character is a Power Ranger. So for an example, Princess Sheila wouldn't count because she's not a Power Ranger. The second rule is they are not becoming a Power Ranger. When we pick Billy's team, for an example, he is not becoming a part of the team. He's not going to become a new ranger. He is just being a mentor. The Zordon, the Princess Sheila, the sensei of the group. And then the third and last rule is it can be any specific ranger. It doesn't have to be a whole team. It can be a whole team, but it could be a very specific ranger. It could be a duo of rangers. It could be a trio of rangers. You don't have to specifically pick just the whole team. If you want to narrow it down to one specific ranger, you can. That being said, of course, hit the like button if you haven't already, subscribe if you're new, and hit the notification bell so you guys don't miss another video. With that being said, let's go. Okay, so let's start off with Zach. Do you want to go first?
Sure. Again, I have no clue what we're doing, but hey, we're having fun doing it, so let's do it anyways. For Zach, I had chose Trip, the green Time Force Ranger. I feel like their energies kind of match. Trip is kind of the outsider of his group. Zach, knows what that feels like, being an outsider himself. So I feel like they both could jibe over that. I think Trip would be, very excited to learn hip-hop keto just because it's something different and new. And Trip's always willing to learn. And I think Trip could teach Zach a few things in tech, he could impress Billy with.
That's very true. Also, one thing that also makes perfect sense to this matchup is Trip's from the future, so in his data files and stuff, he would know what hip hop keto is. So having Zach teach him, he'd feel quite you'll be your hero type. You're like, oh my god, I'm learning something from the 21st century type deal.
Yeah, totally. He would have a field day with it.
And also, like you said, they're both very Trip's been an outcast. Zach's understands that all that sort of stuff, and I think Zach would be very respectful for the fact that Trip's an alien. He hides his little gem in his head, and that sort of thing. I think Zach would be a very compassionate person towards that sort of thing.
Yeah, definitely. I agree with that fully.
For Zach, I went with Steel Silver, aka the Silver Beast Morphers Ranger, only because, of course, Steel once was a robot, but now is human. He's an actor. Zach obviously does hip-hop keto. He's a dancer, so they have that in common. And I feel like Steel could learn of a lot of different human traits from Zach, how to be a good friend, how to look after the environment, how to join in with different human, activities like dancing and going out with friends, but also I do feel like when it comes to Zach's fighting style, not just hip-hop keto, but the other things that he can do, his other skill sets on the battlefield, I think because Steel went from a robot to a human, I think Zach is one of the best options to teach him different fighting techniques, how to think outside of the box when it comes to fighting, and also how just to be just a cool dude. Zack is a very cool character. He's the cool kid, So I feel like
Yeah.
Steel would want to hang out with him.
Yeah, I feel like, yeah, definitely I could see that. And like you said, I could see Zack wanting to teach Steel how to be cool, because Zack was the cool kid. So he definitely has that knowledge base.
And also something else is Steel's an actor, so Steel could use some of the lessons that he learned from Zack, how to be the cool kid, how to be respectful, the hip-hop keynote, he could put that in his acting career at the same time.
Yeah, definitely.
So let's go with Kimberly.
Kimberly Ann Hart, huh? This one took me a little bit of thinking, because Kimberly, I love Kimberly to death, don't get me wrong. She's a great character and stuff, but her personality of the Valley Girl kind of stumped me for a little bit. But eventually I came up with Mai, the Pink Samurai Ranger, just because I think like their energies would match, because Mai is very much wanting to help her friends. She's very much, she's out there to try, and she wants to do things, and she wants to try new things. And Kim, throughout the years of Power Rangers, seems like she was the same way. She was always there for her friends. Especially her and Trini. They were inseparable, and she was there for Tommy when everything happened to him. So I just think it was a really cool choice to have her mentor Mai.
Yeah. It's Mia, by the way.
Mia. Oh, whoops, my bad.
We understand who you meant. Yeah, and also, Kimberly's got a very athletic type of fighting style, because obviously she does like gymnastics and stuff, so putting that onto a samurai, I think she could come up with very cool different sword fighting techniques, with the whole acrobatics mixed into it. You'd get a very Nightwing, Robin, Batgirl type esque fighter then, but with a sword, kind of like a Damian Wayne type deal, mixing up the two fighting styles. And yeah, you're correct on the fact that they're both very outgoing, very adventurous, nature driven, they're both very compassionate towards their teammates and stuff. So yeah, I think you picked a really good choice there for Kimberly to mentor somebody. For me, I went with Sid, or Sydney, aka the Pink SPD Ranger, because Sid starts off as like a very snobby princess of the team. She doesn't want to get her hands dirty. She doesn't want to, do all the hard work. She just wants to do her job, but she doesn't like what it entails. And I think because Kimberly's so out there, because she's so adventurous, I think Sid would learn a good couple of things. I think her character arcs would definitely be a bit more, there's more fruition to it. And I think also, as being a Power Ranger, I think Kimberly could teach Sid, how to think outside the box, how to keep an eye on her teammates, have their backs, but also, jump around and kick some ass at the same time.
Well, the cool thing is with your choice is Sid could actually like look her up. Sid could actually like watch videos on Kim and learn from Kim, even without actually meeting Kim, because of they have all the files of Power Rangers of the past, so that they could actually do that.
Yeah, that's very true. And the cool thing is about this one is if you look at the Souls of the Dragon comic book, SPD has a role in that. Tommy's son is a part of SPD and things, and
but that's not Kim. That's Kat.
No. But what I'm talking about is the timeline makes sense because Tommy's older, Kat's older, so they're all going to be in their like 30s or whatever, 40s, which means SPD would then still happen. So timeline wise, you could kind of see it happen.
Yeah, you can completely see it happening.
Triceratops.
Let's go with one of my favorite characters in MMPR, Billy, our nerdy Blue Ranger.
Okay, so Billy, I went with the whole team for him to kind of mentor, and Bulk and Skull actually kind of played into this choice, because I chose Lost Galaxy, because I think Billy would just be enamored by all the tech, all the stuff that happens on TerraVenture. I just think he would have so much fun teaching them of where they came from, because TerraVenture is from Earth, and I could just see him having little moments with Bulk and just stupid stuff, you know?
Honestly, that it does make a lot of sense as well, because if you play into it that you've got like is it Kai, the blue Lost Galaxy Ranger? He's so uptight at first. You know, he's the man who does the job. You don't falter, you don't step out of line. I think Billy would teach him, you know, hey, it's okay to, you know, not be so upfront. You know, you have to let loose sometimes. You know, sometimes, okay, yeah, rules are rules, but Power Ranger wise, sometimes you kind of have to step in front and, you know, get the job done in a different way. And obviously then you have the Yellow Ranger who can like talk to the Galactic Beast. I think Billy would find that really interesting because they're technology, but they're not the Galactic Beast, so it's very hard to explain.
I could easily see Billy wanting to study the Galactic Beasts, like in depth study these things.
Absolutely, and look how he is in Cosmic Fury. You know, the way that he's very you know, intrigued of the aliens and the fact that he's on a different planet and things. You know, he's still he's not 100% losing his mind over the fact, but he's still quite intrigued, and I think that definitely plays with the Galactic Beast. So yeah, that's a good choice. For my choice, I went with another Pacific Ranger. I went with Noah, which is Mega Force and Super Mega Force Blue.
I can see that. Yeah, right off the bat, I can see that.
Because Noah's a nerd. Noah's the kid who spends all his time researching the Power Rangers, trying to learn different things. You know, he's all about the knowledge, and that's exactly who Billy was. That's exactly who, like, when they made Mega Force, they tried to recapture, you know, MMPR, and they made the Blue Ranger the nerd, just like Billy was. And I feel like not only would Billy teach Noah, you know, really cool, interesting things about the Power Rangers, the history, the lore, weapons, technology, but also just how to be a better Ranger in general. You know, the fighting techniques, because, you know, both Noah and Billy, they're not fighters in the beginning. They're not warriors. You know, look at Jason, Kimberly, you know, they have some form of martial arts underneath their belt. I mean, hell, the very first time we see Billy, he's trying to learn martial arts. You know, so now that he's been a Power Ranger for several years, I feel like, you know, he'd look at Noah and he'd think to himself, look, I've been in this kid's shoes. I've literally been this kid. Let me help him.
Yeah, definitely could see it. Yeah, as soon as you said Noah, I was like, oh man, that's a brilliant combo.
Let's move on to Trini.
Trini was actually the easiest one for me because I took her background. Trini is a martial artist. You know, we all know that about her. So I chose Ninja Storm. Sorry, not Steel. Ninja Storm, because I wanted to go with the first set of ninjas that she doesn't have a connection to. And I just felt like she could actually train them to be better martial artists. Was my thought process on that one. Plus, you know, she has connections to Billy, so, you know, she could pick Billy's mind to help Cam if he needed it.
I also think with her, the way that she tackles emotions and, you know, outside world problems that aren't parent related, I think she could really help, like, the Thunder Brothers, you know, because they have this whole trauma that they kind of, like, lingers over them. You know, Dustin's a bit scatterbrained. You know, and Tori's the only girl, so she has that as well. So I think Trini would really pull them all together and make them, you know, kind of feel like more of a unit quicker.
Yeah, and I also think Trini would vibe really well with Sensei. You know, I think they could be on the same level of training for the Rangers.
Yep, agreed. I actually went down the same route as you, going down the Power Ranger and training side of route, but I went with a different team who's very martial arts themed. I went with Power Rangers Jungle Fury, because obviously the first three Rangers are all cats, and Trini's a saber-toothed tiger, so I went down that route. I think that would, like, work pretty well. I think she'd empower Lily, make sure that she felt like, you know, a powerful woman. I feel like she'd get, you know, Theo out of his shell, and I think she would make Casey realize how good of a fighter he is sooner than what happens in Jungle Fury. When RJ's involved, you know, RJ's a fantastic character beforehand, you know, he's a great character, but I feel like Trini would remind him, you know, because RJ has to be a mentor, and then a Power Ranger. He has to fight his animal spirit and all this stuff. I think Trini would be there to remind him, hey, you're just as good as, what you're willing to do. Remember that sort of, especially when his dad's involved, because RJ obviously has conflict with the Shark Master. And then with Dom's the fun, he's the lovable, he's the jokey one. And I think Trini would definitely have fun with him, but teach him, hey, there's a time for jokes, there's a time for messing around, but when shit needs to get serious, this is when shit gets serious. And I think, on top of training them with martial arts, because, hey, that would be a badass combo, I think also she'd help them individually at the same time.
I could totally see RJ geeking out over her, though, when he first meets her. Just because, RJ was a Power Ranger fan before he got his team. So it's like, I could just see him geeking out. Be like, oh my god, you're Trini Kwan.
Tyrannosaurus!
So let's go to your favorite Ranger of all time. And
the best Ranger.
The
best Ranger. Not saying anything else.
The leader of Mighty Morphin Power Rangers. Let's go to Jason.
Jason Lee Scott. Now this one, I went back and forth a lot on this one, just because I do like Jason. I do know a lot about Jason, but I landed on Dino Charge. Mostly because I feel like his knowledge of being a Ranger would really help the Dino Charge's battles, his useness to multiple enemies, to being surrounded by every side. He's calm, he's cool, he's collected. He knows how to command large groups of teams. We've seen this throughout the comics, throughout the show, and throughout the movies and stuff like that. So I felt like he would just bring kind of a center to the team, and definitely could see the Red Ranger jiving with Jason just because they share the same dinosaur. I could see the Red Ranger just going completely crazy over that factor.
Yeah, I can totally see it. You're correct. Jason was there for several team ups, including the most popular for Red. He's been there, he's done it. He's also been involved in so many fights, not just his own, not just the MMPRs. He's been around everywhere and all, every place. And so you also, if you nitpick Dino Charge a second, we've got you got Kendall, who's the Purple Ranger. She's very uptight at first. She doesn't get along with the Pink Ranger at first and things. I think Jason would teach her, hey, not only some fighting skills, but you have to bond with your team. Jason's been there. Look at when Tommy got first involved, and things like this. I think he'd be really good at teaching Kendall, hey, same with the Graphite Ranger. He had this whole hiccup about the gold energem, and then finally he became a ranger. He's very posh and very obnoxious at first. I think some of the characters, that are a bit higgledy-piggledy, I think Jason would be very good at teaching them, hey, teammates before anything else, because that's exactly who Jason is.
Yeah, he's all about his team. His team comes first. I agree with that fully.
So funny enough, I had the similar idea, your reason for Dino Charge. I had very similar, but I went to a comic book team. This is the only one that differs from everything else. So there's a team of Rangers called, I'm gonna butcher this name, Promethea Rangers. It's from the Beyond the Grid comic books, and they're a team of Rangers who are built by a character called Grace, and they are built to help the Rangers who are depowered by Lord Draken. And they kind of are very mixed match. So the members who make this team are the Ranger Slayer, which is alternate Kimberly, Magna Defender, Zeo Ranger 2, Yellow, so that'd be Tanya, Dino Charge Dark Ranger, so that's Heckle, Green Samurai Ranger Cam, and then the Red Space Ranger Andros. So the reason why I went down this team is because you have Kimberly, who he knows, but this is the alternate version of Kimberly, so I feel like he could really, bring her back to her roots, kind of help her down her path of redemption. He knows Andros already, because of Forever Red working together and things. he would know Tanya, not exactly know Tanya, but he does know Tanya. They've been a team before. And then the other...
yeah.
Because
he was
Theo,
gold. Yeah, he was
so,
gold. So yeah, he's worked with Tanya.
He's not led Tanya before, but he's worked with Tanya before. And then the other three, you got Heckle, who has the whole been bad, now good type thing. Well, he's worked with Tommy, who was a bad ranger at first, so he knows how to handle Heckle. Cam's the new character of the team. He's the Green Ranger. He's the last character to get his powers in Ninja Storm. Well, Tommy's been the Green Ranger and also the last, and Jason helped him. And Jason's been the 6th Ranger in the team before and joined a team late, being Zeo Gold. And then with Mike, well, again, that kind of falls in the same plate as well. So each character of this team, Jason can help in different ways. And also their whole goal is to, well, kind of help other Rangers when it comes to Lord Drakkon, which Jason already in the comics has a big, step into that storyline. He helps take down Lord Drakkon. So I feel like he really helped this mixed match team of Rangers and really pull them together and make them a solid unit.
I concur. I agree with that. Yeah. I mean, when it comes to Jason, you really do think tactical, because that's what his job as leader was. He was the tactical thinker of the group.
Yeah, he was. Well, this is why he's always one of the main characters that always comes back when it comes to crossovers and, anniversary episodes and things. Jason's one of the main people they bring back. If it's not Tommy, it's Jason, And there we have it. We got all of the 5 Mighty Morphin original Rangers, and we made them into mentors. If you guys want to see a sequel to this, where we use the characters that got swapped in the second team of Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, let us know down in the comments. And of course, if you can make the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers into mentors, which teams would you give them, or Pacific Rangers would you give them? We want to know your thoughts down in the comments. Now, of course, if you guys want to see our individual content, please make sure you check out the link tree down below. It's sectioned off into different sections, so you have one for Cosplay 267, one for Mark the Red Cornish Ranger, and one section for myself. There's also our TikTok link, and of course the partners, or the council members as I should call them, are also linked in the link tree as well. Of course, with that being said, thank you very much for watching, and we shall see you guys in the next video.